Welcome back. The Grease Board is back with Sega Sports World Series Baseball for Xbox. That's with Jason Giambi on the cover, not to be confused with other baseball games with Jason Giambi on the cover, such as the PlayStation 2 Sega Sports World Series Baseball 2K3. We're fairly certain this is from 2002. Won't let you know how we know that one, but it's not the Sega Saturn version either. Mike Piazza on that one. Man, Sega's loving their Italian baseball players, it would seem. And these games derive from the World Series Baseball franchise on the Genesis, and there's so many baseball franchises for Genesis, it's easy to not find these ones. They get lost in the fray a little bit with how many games there are. Normally, this is where we would play commercials for you of the game in question. However, it was really hard to find the ones from this season for some reason. There was commercials for 2K3, 4, the years before it, even the Genesis ones. But what I found interesting was if you go on YouTube, there's actually old footage from IGN of just clips of the game with their file name as the title. I thought that was really funny. And of course, here is the authentic case that we went out and got for you. No bootlegs here. Always original copies from the game store or the thrift store when we find them. You can run the show is the feature. You can play as Hall of Fame legends. You can flash some leather, baby. You can be the realest one. And of course, it's a thinking man's game, in case you didn't know that. And if you're like me and you like to laugh at the pain of others, which most of us, of course, do, when we were getting this game, here's a cat just to confirm that we like to laugh at other people's pain. When we were buying the actual game, we didn't check to see if the disc was in there, so we ordered a brand new version. So now we have 2 discs, 1 cup, maybe if you're disgusting and you remember the meme I'm referencing here, maybe not. But we have 2 discs, no manual, and the cat is very upset, maybe just tired, that we don't have a manual for this game. Let's go ahead and figure out what button it is that we press here. Check out the options as we always like to do at the start. Let's get it going. Sometimes you never know if there's going to be an announcer in the game, so it's best to check the settings. I don't know what the settings of an umpire being a 7 is going to mean. Maybe it's the volume of the umpire, which you want high up, of course. There's some sort of UFO noises on these options. Let's go ahead and see the difficulty. Rookie, Pro, we're going to go with. Game condition, I would love to have random instead of just day or night every single time. Strike zone's got to be off. Now, in the new games, I don't like to use the strike zone because it kind of helps you. And, you know, you can really see where you're pitching where you wouldn't normally in real life. And we're so realistic here at the Grease Board that we want to put ourselves in the game, of course. But it seems like we can only put our first initial That seems a little weird. We can check the batting stance. Okay, I guess we're just A. As much as I dislike this inability to make a real first name, I do like the sounds the keyboard is making, like we're shooting lasers. Typical keyboard sounds. So let's go ahead and just give ourselves a capital B for Bert. I'm going to spell that out for you anyways. And we're going to go ahead and, I don't know if anybody's going to get this, but the last name is going to be Stanton, as in Giancarlo Stanton, not as in Mike Stanton, I think was also a player, but actually Bert Stanton, one of Bart Simpson's aliases, perhaps from the casino one. Bert Stanton speaking? I don't remember. A prank call, maybe? We're keeping it true to life here. Second baseman, uniform number 22. Throws right, bats right, 5'9", 185 pounds. If you want to get a mental image of how I look, basically the most handsome 5'9", 185 pound man there is. Am I Swedish? Am I Mexican, Paraguayan, Australian? You'll never know. Can you guess by my voice? 1,000 theoretical dollars to anyone in the comments who guesses it. Now that Bert Stanton is made, we're going to go ahead and set up a season here. 162 games, the full kit and caboodle. Have we said that before? I hope not. Injuries have to be on. Computer trading has to be on. Injuries in general are injuries are a part of a general manager's life. Unless you say they shouldn't be. Off means that no one will be injured in your league. On means that players will become injured at a realistic rate. A little bit of humor there for you. So I've never seen this before, a management draft where you were basically going to be drafting like a fantasy draft, but for your scouts and the coaches on your team. Very interesting concept. And I don't know who I'm going to get. Croppanisi, Brian Savage. His pitching's an F, but his batting's a C+. I guess we're going to get him. Andy Krager, Eric Posto. Is that supposed to be the third guy there? LaDainian Tomlinson? Red Shatsky. Now that's a name. Ving James. I think they're playing pranks on us with these names. At this point, Jonathan Salty and Rice Matthews. We're really losing our minds here. Picking anyone. We got to take this guy. Crazy Kauai. Scott Wiener. Wow. So we're just going to go with the Diamondbacks here for completely ethical reasons. One being they're the first team on the list, and it was freezing a lot on me, so I just went with them. And two, I loved the Diamondbacks of this era. I watched them as a kid. I mean, Byung-Hyun Kim here, Randy Johnson, Curt Schilling, Todd Stottlemyre. As we try to figure out how to check out their stats and their pictures, we're just going to keep scrolling through. There he is, Byung-Hyun Kim. He threw a home run, or a couple home runs against him in the World Series, I believe, and they had to stop using him. Otherwise, he's a beautiful man that has a submarine-style pitching. Curt Schilling, of course, bloody sock when he was with the Red Sox. Did he win a World Series with them? I think so. I don't remember, but Curt Schilling, hell of a guy. You know, in past videos, we see a lot of people making corrections of the voiceover guy, saying he doesn't exactly know which soccer players are which. To that, I say that's part of the fun. When you've got Randy Johnson here, and he's called the big unit, those are the things that I know. Do I know whether or not Curt Schilling won a title with them, or if he was added after? I don't. But I do remember Tony Womack. I love the little descriptions they have for him. Craig Counsell will have some up and downs over the course of the season. Not a big run producer, he still hits for good average. These little things are what I think makes this game super unique and fun, and probably, if you're bored or you've lost internet access, worthy of playing today. Luis Gonzalez, of course, hit the World Series winning RBI base hit up the middle. I remember that vividly, sitting cross-legged in front of the TV as a lad, watching me-wee Diamondbacks. Yes, very Irish is what the whole World Series reminded me of. Danny Bautista is another guy you might remember from the era. And of course, we've got the spot for the pitcher as we did at the time. No longer. Now, another cool feature here is the majors and minors here that you could demote. It basically looks and feels like a bench so that you can put players off that you don't want to be in the majors right now. There's no fleshed out minor league or like division like we would have in modern games, but at least it's something there. And I think the reason for that actually is because of the amount of memory we're working with back then. I remember picking up MLB 2000, I think it was, for Nintendo 64. And not realizing I needed an entirely specialized memory card to play that game because of how much data the rosters and the stats used back then. The systems just weren't made for it. The regular memory cards weren't made for it, so you had to get a special one. I didn't. One franchise took up the entire memory card, but we made do. We only played one at a time, unlike now, where my friend says I have franchise deficit disorder, or franchise ADD, where we're always starting a new one. Of course, we gotta make reference to Quentin McCracken here. Perhaps you'll get the joke that he's the brother of Phil. Lyle Overbay, former Blue Jay, you guys. No photo yet here. But let's take a look at the other options. This is pretty cool, the coach reports. You can just get them to suggest trades, promotions, and different finance things. I guess Crazy Kauai can't suggest any trades right now. He's not very good at his job, I guess. Brian Savage says Mark Grace probably won't get any better than he is now, and Andy Krager is talking shit about Byung-Hyun Kim, so we're basically just going to ignore that and consider him dead to us already. So for re-signing players, here's Scott Patterson. I'm not exactly sure what any of this means. It's budget points instead of dollars. I don't know if they thought it was a little complicated or maybe too much work to find out the actual salaries and salary caps and whatever negotiating tactics that they just went with points. Okay, let's just put it at points. Nobody's going to get hurt from that. I hope at this point it's clear who we're looking for. I wanted to see if Barry Bonds is actually in the game. There's Reggie Sanders. He isn't the top fielder in the game, but he's still in the upper echelon. Good work. Good use of echelon there. I see... Who do I see? JT Snow, Benito Santiago, some other guys. Where's Barry Bonds? How do we organize this? There we go. There's Barry Bonds. Bonds is a future Hall of Famer. He hits screaming line drives and tape measure home runs seemingly at will. Hitting for average is his specialty. His rating's full. His potential is full. He's got 3 years left on his contract. He's pretty damn good, you might see. Hey, there's Moises Alou. We remember him, too. He's a good-looking guy. Of course, we got to go for Slammin' Sammy. He's everything you could possibly want in a right fielder. He's a pitcher's nightmare. Driving baseballs into gaps and over the fences with equal enthusiasm. No mention of him carrying miniature American flags after 9/11. I think he might have even done that before 9/11. Maybe the miniature American flag was his thing. Ken Griffey Jr., no picture. He's the kind of player you build your team around. They say, how do we not have a picture for Ken Griffey Jr.? What is the lapse in judgment? Could we not get the picture of him on the Reds in time? Who cares? Just put a picture of him anyway. Richard Hidalgo, I believe that is. I see Mark Loretta, Brian Giles, so many names. We're looking for... I see Andre Pujols, Miguel Cairo, Edgar Renteria, Placido Polanco. Is Mark McGwire not on the team here? JD Drew, Stubby Clapp is a name. Let's check out Pujols. Just 22 years old here. Can you imagine? His rating and his potential is still maxed out. 95 overall, but I don't remember. I was fairly certain Mark McGwire was still going to be in this game. Am I going crazy or something? There's Jeremy Giambi. I'm wondering if McGwire's on the Athletics for some reason. But for Sosa to be this highly considered in the rankings, that Mark McGwire would have to be up here as well. We're going to do a first ever real-time check here, I think, to discover, people, like I said, so many people in the comments like, well, his name's actually Corey, or his name is actually Trevor, not this name you're saying, you idiot. We're going to actually do a real-time lookup here, finding out what year Mark McGwire retired. We're going to open up our Brave browser because we are common men who now like to be encrypted when we see things. Baseball Reference is a great website. We're going to scroll down and see that he was retired by this point. Very good, everybody. And he actually hit those home runs a few years prior. So we've done and goofed ourselves. Mark McGwire is not in the game, but at least Sammy Sosa, Ken Griffey Jr., and Barry Bonds are in the game. Lesson learned. We're going to go ahead and get to our first game here. We are playing the San Diego Padres. On day one of the season, we're selecting caps, which is fine with me. I've got a controller this time, so don't worry, everybody. I came prepared for this. Is it actually going to work? I think so.
Welcome to Bank One Ballpark in Phoenix, Arizona. Today, it's the Padres versus the Diamondbacks. Ted Robinson along with Mike Krukow here on the Sega Sports Network. Mike, before we begin, what do you think of the Diamondbacks' chances here?
Well, I think any team that has Mark Grace on it has a good shot to win. I mean, this guy is the definition of a tough out. And he's one of those guys that really doesn't club you over the head with offensive statistics, but he's so steady and consistent, even into his late 30s. He's the kind of guy you can't take for granted when you're pitching against him. Believe me, he can beat you.
Thanks for the lowdown, Mike. Now let's head down for the opening pitch.
That's a pretty good intro. We got to figure out the pitching mechanics here. I'm just going to press X and locate this ball. I don't know if I have to do anything other than press the button.
Mark Kotze is at the plate and takes the pitch.
We wanted to use Randy Johnson just to crush. I think what's happening here for the pitching mechanic, we see the little chart here. I'm guessing hold left maybe on the D-pad, or did we just get an email? Maybe left on the D-pad. I'm not sure what I chose. Let's see if it's anything different. That's a dirty curve. So yeah,
no outs,
pretty easy to figure out. Whatever one of these pitches are, you just move your joystick or your cursor in that direction and then press X or A, whatever you're playing on, and that's the pitch you've selected.
Ground ball. Womack fields the ground ball.
Big Tony Womack. I don't know what these glitchy like squares around them are. I'm not sure what that is, hit detectors or something. But it's a pretty good pitch indicator, pitch chooser if you prefer, because it makes it so that the opponent, if you're playing against them, will not know which one you selected.
Strike one.
Dirty sinker. It makes me think of NFL 2K, how they were one of the first ones to allow you to, press and hold on a play. Uh-oh. We're going to get that one. No, we're not. They let you press and hold a button on a play and then move throughout the menu, so as if you're still looking at things and fool the person you're playing. That's a whiff. That's a strikeout. Randy Johnson looks a little black from this angle, so I'm not sure what's going on here.
Fouled off.
But I found that Xbox did a really good job of doing things like that. The 2K series, the Sega series, roller to first here. Big Mark Grace is going to get him out.
Will take it to the bag himself for the out. That's it for the top of the first. The Padres can't put up any runs here, so the score remains tied. 0-0.
That changeup is listed as adequate. I repeat, adequate. So as I was saying, I felt that other franchises, particularly on Xbox, made a much more concerned effort to really appeal to the user, whether it was the first-person view on Madden, NFL 2K to figure it out, or what I was saying, hiding what you're choosing so your opponent can't tell that you're doing a curveball or changeup. Non-EA franchises and Xbox in particular did a great job at this. As I wildly strike out, I don't know, the hitbox here, the little cursor, I don't know where it comes from. I guess it's the shape of a bat. They're doing that now these days. But I can't hit a god-dang thing in the side of a barn. Let's try a bunt here with Craig Counsell. No, we're just going to rip it. But 68 miles per hour on this changeup, this is insane.
Oh, look at this long drive to right that goes foul.
He's throwing meatballs at me. They're so slow, it's hard to pick up. We're just fouling everything off here.
Swings and misses, and he's out.
Mama help me for a 68 mile per hour changeup. We've got Luis Gonzalez. They've got his stance good. I mean, like many of the games at these times, they chose a few standout players, and they wanted to get them absolutely correct in their style. And
strike one.
If I look over to the recording of this right now as I'm playing, it looks a little bit better on whatever frame rate that is. Don't ask me what any of that means. I don't know. I can't tell you the correct frame rate, the refresh rate, whatever. All I'm seeing is that it's a bit better on the second screen here, as I'm getting 69 mile per hour pitches thrown at me and I can't hit them.
The 2-2 pitch. Devin Jarvis gets the
ouch, this is starting to hurt the old... right in the old ego.
Williams.
This is a wild stance for Matt Williams. Let's see if we can get anything. We can't, probably. I know I had a baseball card of Matt Williams from this era, and he was considered quite good. I think he hit for around 270, 280 with a lot of home runs. But we actually have to make contact for that to work.
Strike one.
Was totally hoping that this weird stance of Mark Grace was going to get me. I don't know what's going on with his wrists here.
Strike two.
Maybe this has something to do with the fact that I can't hit the ball, but his wrists seem like they're in near breaking position, and I think I've struck out 5 times so far. Steve Finley, a lanky outfielder. Let's see what I've got with him.
0-1.
As usual, strike one. Let's see. That was 82, though. More hittable. Uh-oh. Can we? Our first hit? It is launched out of here. Action replay. I mean, this is pretty good for its era, isn't it? I mean, if I was young me playing this, I'd be pretty impressed. I remember playing baseball games of this era, and they were a square. The ball was literally a square.
There's a swing and a frozen rope to center. Hatze is right there. And
good call on the frozen rope, though. You can't get enough of those calls in baseball speak. Frozen rope, lazy fly ball, a laser beam out to right. I just want to hit something with Luis Gonzalez. Let me figure out some of these controls here. Bunt, steal. I was wondering if there's a power swing or anything that I'm missing to make this a little bit easier.
Hit on the ground.
Oh, come on. Easy out. Thought I might have squeaked that one through the left side. Steve Finley, we hit the home run with him, our only hit so far. Oh, no. Can you believe it? Is it real? It is.
Holy schmoly. Oh, second time today, this guy gets his pitch, and boy, did you know what to do with it. 2 times, 2 flies. So, you know, Mike, he is seeing the ball well today and driving.
Yeah, and driving it's the important part. It's one thing to find good pitches to hit, but it's another to really go after him aggressively, and he's doing it. He's hitting.
Listen to that crowd noise still going. I promise you I did not coordinate with the game by saying it is. Are we going to get a hit here? No. Only hits we can get are Steve Finley home runs, I guess. Here's the Scott Patterson. Just got re-signed, whiffing on that one. We can see the hot zones down in the bottom right there. A staple for any baseball game, of course. Doesn't seem like it's going to help us.
Bases are empty with 2 out. There's a swing and a liner to right center.
Gonna go for the bunt with the big unit here, no matter what they say.
The throw to first.
And that's an easy out. Black Randy Johnson, everybody. We're not sure why. He's black in this. Should we get Byung-Hyun Kim in? Yes, we shall.
Is his unorthodox delivery. He really slings that arm down as low as anybody.
His greatest asset.
Sometimes be an issue with him.
Strike one.
91. You know, in my mind, he threw 98, 99 when he got up to the higher parts of the zone. Is that not what was appealing about him? Do you really need a submarine pitcher that throws 91? Is that beneficial just because of his delivery? I don't know. I thought I remembered him being a bit of a fireballer, which is why he so easily gave up home runs when he missed his target.
No balls, it's nobody on.
We're going to close this game out here. Mark Kotze, you're doomed. Look at that. Throwing the kitchen sink at him. What else can we throw in the barrel at him? I don't remember. 97. That's what I'm looking for from Mante. Mike Manti? I think that's who it was. Way ahead of it there, Jimenez. Sorry, dude.
There's a fly ball.
Opposite field. He's not going to do anything with it. We can't be touched. Our 2 home runs appear to have been too much for them to handle. Now, if we're critiquing this game, I think the grass could have looked a little better. Yes, I know of the era that we're talking about here, but I still think it could have looked better. everything looks pretty good except for the grass, I'm going to say. The polygonalness of the players has a certain mystique, a certain joy and love and nostalgia to it, but the grass does look pretty bad as we win. Player of the game, Steve Finley. That's all we needed.
Pitching staff with a shutout. Thank you for joining us at the Sega Sports Network. Until next time, your final score 2-0.
We're going to get into a home run derby here at Bank One Ballpark. It wouldn't be a complete experience if we didn't get some, Ken Griffey's and Barry Bonds and Sammy Sosa's. Pro Player Stadium, Olympic. I think I want to go Olympic for the love of the Montreal Expos. May they rest in peace. I don't think anybody died, but the franchise certainly did. They were playing in a giant Olympic stadium. Couldn't have been too comfortable. Worse than Tropicana Field? I don't know. Perennial matchup of Sosa and Bonds here. Let's see how well we can do. I'm going to be Sammy Sosa. 20 pitches. Seems like a lot. Oh, I see Bonds starts with 12. We got nothing there. 264 feet. I don't know if I should be going under this, if I just do a regular swing. Not looking good so far, I gotta tell you. I don't know how that 12 home runs is going to happen.
There's an out.
We got something. He said it was an out before it even, left the infield. So he's mocking me at this point.
It doesn't make it over the fence. He'll try again.
He's saying this stuff before it even happens. This is rigged. I think I'm going to try to put it a little bit under it. Or just whiff on it. Who knows? Maybe that was my plan. I don't know.
A shot
Come on
deep
now.
right center.
Come on now.
This one is gone.
This
A
one's
home
gone.
run.
See, he called that while it was still in right center field. I don't believe him. 454 though.
He doesn't hit
That's
that
how
one.
far the walls were. 9 pitches left. We are officially not going to tie him, but this is crushed. I think we've got the hang of it now. Blue Shift is our sponsor for this 456-foot home run.
He wastes a pitch on that one.
He's saying, I'm a broken record now, but he's saying this stuff before it even happens. Kind of gives away a bit of the, realisticness when the computer knows exactly what's going to happen as I whiff and initiates the call before we even see it. This is a little bit of a sad display. Just 2 home runs and 20 at-bats. Let's see if we can finish it out.
Drive to right, and the Derby
Looks good.
scurrying to get that home
I like the Rawlings ad. I mean, the Olympic Stadium looks pretty cool. It looks like, I don't know, when did they become the Nationals? Like 97 or something? I don't remember. But that scoreboard in the distance looks pretty cool and really looks up its era. I'm using Bonds this time against Jim Thome. Just 10 pitches instead. We don't want to be here all night. But we're going to start off crushing it. Thome only got 3. Let's see how far this goes. 502. Baby, put on the red panties. We're rich. Oh my God, I'm just going to be crushing these.
Deep center, making the home run derby fans go crazy.
503. Can we go for 504, Jim Thome?
A deep shot to right field, and the home run derby fans admire this one.
502. Did we break it? Are we maxing out here at 503? That'd be a weird arbitrary number, wouldn't it?
Got all of that one. This drive to deep
Is it the
center
distance
might come close to
in its entirety of the stadium? I don't know. 503 again.
There's a souvenir for the fans.
Basically, if you're having trouble with this at home, you got to put the cursor a little bit below it, and then you're going to be getting some lift. But 502 and 503 seems to be as far as we can go.
Count that one on the board.
Maybe depending on the design of the stadium, that's the furthest you can hit, or maybe Barry Bonds.
It doesn't make it over the fence. He'll try again.
Come on. It's foul. Maybe that's Barry Bonds maxing out the game and nobody can hit it further than he can.
The home run derby fans on this power
We
display.
do know that it feels good to smash them. even in this barely 3D environment with Barry Bonds, you don't typically see him in many games, especially back then, as we crush it again. Yeah, we broke it, 502, 503, but back then, Barry Bonds wasn't in a lot of games, and Wayne Gretzky was already retired, Michael Jordan was retired, and he did not like being put in video games when he was playing, so it's nice to use Barry Bonds and literally just crush. So the rest of the options here, you can have the playoffs, of course, 8 teams is the maximum. You can change the format to be all 7-game series or just 3 one-game series. Just one game all the way to the World Series. And you just pick a team from there. You have a single season, which I'm guessing is just one season at a time. But I'm not sure who really goes for that. We all were sort of working towards franchises back at this time. That's the game. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. It's the Grease Board.